Hello, dear students. Okay, so this is a little session on how to upload your data sets in Statcrunch and also how to calculate a linear regression, all right, a regression coefficient. So straight away, open Statcrunch. You can just punch it into your search line on the internet and open up the Statcrunch that I ask you to download for free. And when you do open it, you should get a page like this. And on the upper left should show your email address. And you're going to open one sheet, one spreadsheet. So the yellow button here in the middle. Okay, click that. And what we're going to get is one spreadsheet blank, but it has all the tabs that we need, these tabs here, all right? So you go to the data tab, you see data, load from file on my computer, assuming that you're using the computer where you have your data file stored, the spreadsheet that we've been working on, all right? So click in there. And it will give you a little browser window. You essentially have to look for your folder. So browse, or you can drag and drop also. All right, I have them in here. COVID, SRI 2020. Here they are. All right, I'm just going to pick anyone here and double click. And it's uploading. So it shows you this preview window first, right? Preview window where it has the first few cells on the upper left of the spreadsheet. Typically, it's fine. It's just for you to check to make sure that it looks good, that it looks correct. And then scroll down to the bottom of this page and upload. Click upload. Give it a couple of seconds for it to refresh. And what it's going to do is going to put that spreadsheet, two things. First of all, it's going to open it, as you can see here. All right. So this is the data set. This is the old data set. Oh, yes, because I have it in another, the new version, I have it in another computer. I noticed that these values were not here yet. Well, I'm going to need those values. So let me stop recording for a moment to get the proper data set that I need. I'm going to pause recording for a moment. Okay, here's a data set that has the updated information all the way to the percentage infected and percentage deceased. So we're going to work with these two columns and calculate the correlation coefficient, right? To measure if these two categories are associated with each other, statistically speaking, and if they are, how tightly are they associated with each other? So to calculate the correlation coefficient, once you open your data set like that, you go to Stat tab, this tab here that has the statistics, and you come down to regression, and it's a simple linear regression, then go across to simple linear regression. Click in there, and you just need to select the two variables, the X and the Y variable, all right? Now, typically the X variable is the independent variable with regards to the Y variable. So we're looking at number of infected and number of deceased. from COVID, then what is your intuition? Which one is independent of the other and which one is dependent of the other? For example, is the number of infected people dependent on the number of deceased, or is the number of deceased dependent on the number of infected? I'm sure you realize that the infected for these two variables is the independent variable. In other words, some people can be infected but not die. But the dependent variable is the disease variable, because of those who have died from COVID because they were infected. All right. So in other words, it's impossible to die of COVID without being infected of COVID. And therefore, the dependent variable between these two is going to be the disease. That's going to be the Y variable. So what we do is we click here and select. You see how it gives you all the tabs, right? So we select the independent variable is going to be number of infected or percentage infected. And then the dependent variable on the y-axis is going to be percentage disease. That's all. That's all you need to do for now is select these two, right? Well, okay, then we have to compute. Leave this as it is. We'll talk about it later. We'll talk about the null hypothesis, all right? We're going against the null hypothesis. The null hypothesis says there's no correlation, and we're going against that. So at the bottom right, compute, and expand your box a little bit, your window. And this is your correlation coefficient here, R value, the R value, okay? 0.57. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to do a little research and find out what does this correlation coefficient mean, and if a 0.57 R value is a high or low correlation or no correlation, okay? You're going to find out and find a scale, look up on the internet, correlation coefficient, and see if this R value is significant or not, 0.57 in this particular case. Your data set may give you a somewhat different number. Okay, so we're going to leave it at that for now. Then you can also go at the bottom right here and it will give you a graph, which is the actual linear regression. There it is, that's the linear regression. Okay, and we can talk about the slope here, which we call this a positive slope. And we'll talk about that in the next video. So let's do that for now. Do your little research on the correlation coefficient and estimate the correlation coefficient between the number of infected, the percentage of infected, and the percentage of deceased in your own data set. All right. Thank you very much. We'll be in touch. Bye-bye.